Hello.
All right, you're on. Hello, Carl. It's Alice here. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you, my friend? You okay?
I'm in Arizona, so I'm fine.
Gosh, so it must be quite early, I guess.
No, I get up early. I get up every morning at 6 o'clock. So.
Do you? What? Even what? All through your life, or just the last few years, or?
No, I always do. I wake up early. I sleep maybe 4 hours a night, 4 or 5 hours a night. Yeah.
Bloody hell! Right, okay. That means your mind's on the go all the time, then, I guess. I mean, you're obviously doing Cardiff now, the end of the year, aren't you?
We've got this tour coming up. It's going to be. Last year we did 193 shows, 193 cities.
Oh my word!
And we decided that after 2 years it was time to entirely change the show, put in a brand new show. And so this will be a new production, different production.
Okay.
But, we do all the hits. I've probably got the best touring band out there. My drummer got voted Drummer Magazine Best Drummer in Rock and Roll. And my guitar player, Hurricane Nita Strauss, just won Best Female Guitar Player.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, brilliant.
So I've got a killer band, very great rock band.
And how long have you been with these guys?
I've been with, Glenn's been with me now for about 5 years.
Okay.
And Nita's been with me about 3.
Okay.
But Nita's one of those, she's 28 years old. She looks like a Victoria's Secret model and plays like Eddie Van Halen. It's pretty hard to beat that company. And really a great chick.
Yeah.
Really loves to get up on stage and just tear it up.
Oh, well, no, you got a good band there then. I mean, I've heard the reviews as well, so yeah, you got a pretty good band there. So, I mean, when you said the tour's going to be different than the last one, I mean, what sort of difference is there going to be? Is it just going to be a bit of a surprise?
Well, when it's an Alice Cooper show, you realize there's going to be a great opening and then there's going to be a great, closing for the show because that's where the theatrics all come in. The whole show's theatrical, but that's when we go overboard with the theatrics is about, 3/4 through the show or a third through the show.
Yeah.
Theatrics start. And because I know if I was in the audience, when I go to see the Stones or I go to see any of the bands that are classic bands like The Who, I want to hear the songs.
Yeah.
I want to hear those songs that brought me there.
Yeah.
So we do everything. We do Under My Wheels, Poison, School's Out, 18, No More Mr. Nice Guy, all those songs we do.
Yeah.
It's just now, how do you produce them on stage to make it visually more, different than what we did the last time?
I understand.
That's really, how we do it. Yeah.
So you got to make. I mean, I know what you're saying. You got the hits there, but you obviously that's what people go for. But also you've got to sort of try and put a little bit of a spin on there. So when they go to all your shows, you get to experience it in a different sort of way, and to come away different experience, I guess.
Yeah, that's the way that we've always done it. For 50 years has been, the Alice Cooper show has always been based on hard rock and theatrics. And people would think that we spend all of our time on the theatrics. We actually, if we do an 8-hour rehearsal, 7 hours is on the music.
Jeez.
Because, you're up against the best bands in the world.
Yeah.
And so you better be a great band.
Yeah.
And then you can put the icing on the cake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You built the cake, now put the icing on it. Our icing happens to be about 8 inches thick.
Right, yeah. I mean, I was going to ask you about the theatrics. I mean, when did this all start to originate then, back in the day? I mean, was it early days or?
Well, we couldn't afford, anything very expensive early on. But we were always just inherently, absolutely theatrical. It was in our DNA, Even when we were just playing bars, we always had something going on.
Okay.
Whereas I would find like a bucket and a mop backstage. And I would say, okay, that's going to be our prop today. And I would turn that mop into about 12 different things.
Right, okay.
Now, when we started making money, of course, now we could go, okay, now let's put Alice in a straitjacket. Let's have a nurse come out. Let's cut his head off, or let's hang him, because he's the villain. And so he needs to be executed, and then he needs to come back for the finale, all in white, like he's been reborn.
Yeah.
That's always been sort of a formula for us, and the audience loves that. They want Alice They want Alice to be punished and then come back.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, your shows are spectacular events, if you don't mind me saying. They are spectacular. But I know that obviously.
You know what I remember about Cardiff? I actually saw the Stones at Cardiff.
Did you?
When they played that big hall there. What's their big indoor arena?
When was this?
It's been 10 years ago, yeah.
Oh, Millennium Stadium.
Yeah, it was great. I saw the Stones in that great big indoor stadium, and it was really, really fun.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing one. Yeah, it is. It's pretty good. We've got some good venues down here, actually. We're quite spoiled for choice, so.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you took the name Alice Cooper from the band, now, so you guys were in initially. I mean, that must have been a rare thing to do. I mean, was it just because of the financial potential aspect later on, or was it some other decision why you took?
It really wasn't. It had nothing to do with anything, financially, because all the original guys in the band were still best friends.
Exactly. Yeah.
We never really broke up with any bad blood. We had just done like 6 albums in a row. We, Billion Dollar Babies and Killer and Love It to Death. And,
yeah.
School's Out and all those records. They were all gigantic records. And we just got to a point where we burned out.
Okay.
We never took time off. We always spent all of our time touring or recording. Back in those days, you did 2 albums a year.
Jeez.
And that was just part of it. I mean, everybody did that. So we pretty much burned out around 1974, and everybody wanted to go off and do their own projects. Well, my idea was Welcome to My Nightmare, and it just took off. I mean, it was bigger than Billion Dollar Babies, and it ended up that everybody just split up at that point. But we never split up totally. We, call each other, what's going on, what's going on there. Honestly, the money had nothing to do with it. It was more an artistic thing where we had just lost all of our ideas, and I needed new people for new ideas. Right,
okay. And you just wanted to continue, I guess, didn't you? You just wanted to continue what you started.
I saw an eventual bad breakup coming for the Alice Cooper, and I didn't want that to happen. I'd rather have it break up with everybody going out and doing their own albums and everything.
Yeah.
And that's the way it really was. Now I still do shows with the original band.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, we brought the original band up, and everybody loved it. So, I wouldn't be against that happening again.
Okay. Do you think then that yourself you were destined to have the career you had then?
I really believe that I wouldn't have been happy doing anything else. I mean, I'm still at 71. I'm in better shape now than I probably was when I was 30.
Okay.
Because I was hanging out with Keith Moon and those boys.
Yeah.
And I was going down pretty fast. So I quit drinking and drugging and everything 37 years ago.
Oh,
and
okay.
it added 40 years to my life. So at 71 now, I'm in top shape. I mean, I go out there and I can do a 2-hour show and not breathe hard.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. I mean, I spoke to Glenn Murray last year. To Deep Purple. Yeah, he said the same thing when he gave up all the drugs and all that. So, I mean, he had to anyway, obviously the heart attack. But he said the same thing when he was touring last year, and he tours all the time, doesn't he, like yourself? And he said the same thing. At his age, he feels better now than he did 30 years ago. So.
Oh yeah, it's really and I think rock and roll, the idea of that you're producing, you're writing new music, you're always active, and then you get on stage and in our case. You've got to really produce something big because people are expecting it. And even though we don't go with lasers and we don't go with all that stuff and all the pyro, I want my show to be much more personal so that audiences are sucked into it almost like a vaudeville, almost like a cabaret kind of thing. But they keep their attention on the main character.
Yeah.
Even he's in a straitjacket in a cold blue light, and there's a very disturbed nurse behind him with a giant hypodermic needle, and the whole audience gets into that claustrophobia.
Yeah, I mean, do you find it hard though that like with the show that goes on, it's like a theatrical type thing, and the music, but obviously it's going to be a one-way thing, isn't it? Or do you still try and feed off the audience in some sort of way by the energy from the giving from the audience to yourself?
Yeah, I think that what it is that we fill them up with I never want the audience to look away from the stage.
Okay.
So we make sure that every song has got something going on at all times. If you look away from the stage, you're going to miss something. And I get the audience, by the time we get into the heavy theatrics, they're ready for it. They're ready. They say, we know something's coming. We don't know what it is, but here it is. You know, and then when we walk away from the stage at the end of that, I know everybody's satisfied. And to me, that's what really keeps audiences coming back, is they're satisfied with the quality of the show. They're satisfied, and they walk away going, oh, man, I can't wait to tell my friend about what happened last night.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm looking forward to it, to be honest with you. I know it's October, but I'm so looking forward to coming to see you, so I am. Going back to you first started out then back in, was it Detroit, wasn't it, back in the day? I mean, what was the sole motivator that got you into music in the first place?
Well, I think that our generation had always been, we grew up with the Beach Boys and the Four Seasons,
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I heard this band do, She Loves You, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was 15, and I went, what was that? Because that didn't sound like anything else on the radio.
Right.
And then I heard Please Please Me, and then I heard I Want to Hold Your Hand. Then I went,
Yeah.
And I kept going, who are these guys? And I finally got a picture of them. They had long hair, they wore Beatle boots and all this stuff, and I just went,
right.
wow. That's what I want to do right there. And so myself and a bunch of friends got together, and started learning how to play. And that was it. We just put a little band together, started playing little bars and parties, having no idea that it was going to end up 55 years later doing major tours all over the world.
Yeah, it's a bit of a legacy, isn't it?
It was just one of those things where we were maybe the most unlikely band to make it.
Well, okay.
Because the band was a good band, really good. Our favorite band was the Yardbirds. We kind of beat the Yardbirds all the time, and with that hard rock, and with the energy of the Who, And then we just put the theatrics to it, and it created a new thing. I saw Alice Cooper as being a necessity because I saw nothing but rock heroes, and I saw no rock villains.
Right, yeah, okay.
And I said, well, there needs to be a consummate rock villain, and that's where Alice Cooper was born.
Right, okay, that makes sense now. So, yeah, you wanted to go against the grain, I guess, in a way.
Well, necessity is the mother of invention, right?
Yeah, it is. And, I mean, you touched upon what you said about the Beatles. They sort of it got you into music. Well, they were one of the first that inspired you. But do you find it hard these days for music to really impress you now that you've been around for so long? I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean in a good way.
Well, I was just at the Grammys.
Okay.
And I think what has happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago, the Grammys was all rock and roll.
Yeah.
It was all great rock bands.
Yeah.
This Grammys, I think I saw one rock band there the whole time. So what has happened, and I think it might be healthy, is rock has now become outlaw again.
Okay.
If you're in a rock band now, you're sort of on the outs of the music business, and that means to me that more rock bands are going to come along, young ones, and they're going to defy the system, and suddenly rock is going to be healthy again. Because it is back to its normal form, being outlaw.
I understand. So basically what you're saying is that because all these bands will just get better and better and better until they make a breakthrough, then there'll be a good amount of decent rock bands out there rather than the one or two that have just at the moment.
I really believe there are bands. I think the Struts are a little early. The Struts are a band that, that's got the idea of get up on stage and be a rock star. And the Foo Fighters are a rock band. Green Day's a rock band.
Yeah.
I really like that band from Ireland, the Stripes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think there's kids right now in a garage in Cardiff learning Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, there are actually. Yeah.
And learning Alice Cooper, hopefully. And I think those bands are going to emerge, and you're going to see a whole new generation of great new rock bands.
I hope so. I don't know what it's like over in America, but over here, the schools, they cut a lot of funding for like musical sort of studies now. So anyone that wants to play in a band has to sort of do it out of their own pocket, if that makes any sense. I don't know what it's like over in America. Is it still quite popular?
Well, I saw that coming in the States.
Okay.
I opened a place here in Phoenix called Solid Rock.
Okay.
And it's a place where any teenager can come in.
Yeah.
And learn guitar, bass, drums. If they're not into music, they can learn art. They can learn photography. They can learn anything with the arts.
Oh, wow.
And it's all free. It's all free.
Wow, okay.
Come in and learn. And so a bunch of little rock bands have started, just in this place.
Yeah.
And it's really great to hear these kids who are not very good, suddenly become pretty good.
Right. So that's like thanks to you giving something back.
Well, and to me, I think that a kid's worst enemy is too much time.
Yeah.
Because there's so much on the street that they can get into, and a lot of these kids are gang related.
Right.
Mom and dad are already in gangs.
Yeah.
And so these kids gives them an opportunity to not do that, to not be selling meth on the street, but to all of a sudden they're in a band and they've changed everything. Yeah,
that's a very worthwhile thing, because like I say, it's just a vicious cycle for some people, isn't it? If the parents do it, then the kids do it, and so on and so on.
Absolutely.
I mean, going back to yourself, I mean, this is sort of not a random question, it's a good question. I mean, what does it feel like to be the most recognisable, probably rock and roll performer on the planet? What does it feel? What's it like being in your shoes?
I've always. There was a time when I didn't know where I started and where Alice, the character, ended. There's a really gray area there.
Okay.
I knew Jim Morrison and Jimi Hendrix and all those guys. And the character was such a strong character that he had his own way of doing things on stage. And I finally realized that there had to be a separation between him and myself.
Yeah.
And so I treat Alice to this day in the third person.
Okay.
I'll be watching a video of Alice Cooper and I'll go, okay, what should he wear on the next tour?
Okay.
I don't like the way he did that. And all of us talk about Alice in the third person because he's a character.
He is, yeah.
And so, he's nothing at all like me. He's an arrogant villain. And, he's very condescending. He's like Alan Rickman,
Yeah.
Very kind of condescending to everybody. And I think that's what makes him interesting.
Yeah.
Is that every once in a while this condescending villain will totally blow it in front of the audience.
Yeah.
You'll suddenly have a Clouseau moment. that kind of lets the audience, gives their audience a little breather.
Yeah.
Because, and he never talks to the audience. He never says thank you. He never, because I think the audience don't want him to be human. They want him to be something else.
Yeah.
Now that I've kind of gotten to that point, I can look at Alice and say, Alice Cooper's my favorite rock star.
Yeah.
And say it without an ego, because he's not me. He's another character.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I can understand that, but a lot of fans might think, oh, well, he's going to be like that in real life. But your diehard fans will know that you're not. But I mean, what is a typical day when you're not touring? What do you do on a normal typical day when you're not involved in music, or you're always involved in music?
Well, first of all, I've been married 43 years.
Well done. Oh, amazing. Well done. Amazing.
The girl that plays the nurse in the show, is still playing the nurse, only now she's a better ballet dancer than she used to be.
Right, yeah.
And so that's a stability right there.
Yeah,
It's amazing. I get up every morning. I play golf. That's my sanity right there. I play golf.
Yeah, I knew that.
There's a million things to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm in the other band, too. I'm in the Hollywood Vampires.
Of course you are, yeah.
With Johnny Depp and Joe Perry.
Yeah.
And that band takes a little bit of time. Solid Rock, the charity organization, takes a little bit of time. It all kind of divides itself up, so I'm never bored. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, you do still like. I mean, this sounds really daft. You don't just go out, drive around in your car and go to shops or anything like that, do you? Nothing like that.
Absolutely, I do.
You do?
Absolutely do. And when people come and they want autographs and pictures,
yeah,
I always think to myself, what you don't want is them not wanting your picture, or you not want them not wanting your autograph.
Right. Okay.
When the day comes, you can walk to a mall and nobody bothers you. You better be. You're in trouble then. Yeah,
and I can understand. That's very humble, but also very, very a reality check, I guess, isn't it?
It really is, and I treat it very. I never look at. I sometimes forget that I play Alice Cooper.
Okay.
Well, will stop me and I'll go, that's right, I'm Alice Cooper.
Yeah. It was just, like you just said about when you're out and about, people must do a double take all the time. Does he just to make you laugh when they do that?
Oh, yeah. And how many times do I get, we're not worthy?
Stop joking. Wayne's World.
I would say probably 3 times a day.
Oh, you're joking.
And that was in 1990.
92, wasn't it? Yeah.
I get that every single, and if I'm in an airport, twice as much, because people think that nobody's ever done that, to get on their knees and go, we're not worthy, we're not worthy. And I try to pretend like, oh, how clever.
That's funny. That's made my day. I won't say it when I come see you in Cardiff. So.
If somebody goes down their knees and goes, I'm not worthy, I'll say, hey, wait a minute, aren't you the guy I talked to in Cardiff?
Yeah, it's got to be Carl Marsh, that's me. Right, Alice. Well, thank you for your time. I was going to call you Alice. I know that's not your real name, but obviously, I call you Alice. but thank you.
Calls me Alice. That's absolutely perfect. Yeah, no problem.
Okay, nice one, my friend. I'll make sure I come and see you in Cardiff and try and get to come say hello as well. So.
Thank you, and I'll see you at the show.
Nice one, mate. Thank you. Thanks much appreciation. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye.